Greetings and salutations, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well today. Today I've got two terrifying Dogman encounters coming to us from subscribers. One is a follow-up from Bo. I don't know if you guys remember Bo and his fiance, TJ. They both had encounters with Sasquatch and Bigfoot. Well, Bo sent me some updated information, and Bo and I have been talking via email, and we're planning on doing a little series of his encounters, because for the last couple of weeks, maybe month, Bo has been going out into the woods and doing some hands-on exploration and investigation. So before we get into these, a couple links I'd like to share. As you know, I rely on my Patreon, my PayPal, and my merch to help this channel to continue to grow and go. All of those links are in the description below. I also have a second channel for creepypasta, fanfiction, and scary voice acting. Stories that really don't fit on this channel. Now, if that's anything you're into, follow that link and give those stories a listen. You may just like what you hear. Now, I've taken enough of your time, guys. Let's get on with these terrifying subscriber Dogman encounters. Shall we? Today's first subscriber Dogman encounter. My Dogman encounter happened on season opener in November of 2013 in the eastern Upper Peninsula of Michigan on my family's hunting property near a town called Cedarville. The house my husband and I were staying in up there had a big front yard, but other than that, cleared area and a gravel driveway, everything else is pretty deep hardwood forest. I also want to state ahead of time that this happened around 11 at night, so everything that's beyond the porch lights is pretty hard to see. My husband and I had gone outside to have a cigarette, and we took our rifle out with us whenever we were hanging around the house because there's bear and stuff back there in that area. I was on the porch still, and my husband had gone down the steps into the yard and was facing towards me when we heard these really heavy, slow footsteps coming up the driveway through the woods. It sounded like a really big man, but there was this weird heavy breathing as well, and the footsteps, even though they sounded like a person, sounded heavier than anything I had ever heard walking in the woods, including a full-sized adult bear. My husband looked at me and mouthed, "What the fuck?" And I was trying to figure out what it was that I was hearing, but nothing I had never heard out in these woods in my whole life matched the size and breathing and gait of whatever this was, so I was confused and shaking my head. My husband isn't a hunter and grew up in the city, so he's completely confused as well. I've hunted and tracked basically everything that's indigenous to the northern Michigan since I was small, so I was honestly terrified that this animal was a completely unknown to me by sound. It walked out of the tree line at the edge of the yard behind my husband. It was a lot taller than him, at least 7 feet tall or more, and I'd estimate the weight for its size around 400 pounds. It was on 2 legs and had super dark black fur that was somehow even darker than the nighttime dark of the woods. It was walking back and forth at a distance from us the whole time this encounter happened, but it would not step into where the perimeter of the porch light was. I had a really hard time making out its torso for that reason, but I saw a wolf-like head and snout with pointed ears that stuck straight up, and instead of front legs and paws, it had a really disproportionately long arms and hands. It was on 2 legs this whole time, walking back and forth. I freaked out and grabbed the rifle and just started shooting at it, yelling at my husband to run and get up on the porch. So he did, and then he took his gun from me and told me to find something to use as a weapon and go inside and hide, so I did. I got a big knife and went and locked myself into our bedroom in the closet, and I could hear my husband shooting and reloading a bunch for about another 10 minutes. He came in and told me through the closet door that the Dogman had finally run off, but he wasn't sure if it was going to possibly come back, so we were both pretty terrified. And I ended up staying in that closet all night until sunrise with my husband guarding the door with our gun. He told me that he thought I had hit it when I was shooting at first, but the next day we didn't find any blood or hair or anything, which I thought was weird because I really thought I must have shot and wounded it a couple times. It moved incredibly fast, though, and was agile enough to run through the brush and stuff without really mowing it down or making a bunch of noise, like big animals usually do running through dense underbrush. The whole encounter was incredibly weird and scary. My husband also said that he did see it sort of hunch over and drop down onto all fours a few times while it was running back and forth at the edge of the yard. But that when it finally ran away for good that night, it was running insanely fast on two legs like a man. We didn't smell anything bad, like a lot of people describe when they see these things, and it didn't even leave any noticeable tracks anywhere, even though the thing was so heavy when it was walking up the gravel driveway that I swore the ground near it must have been shaking. We found out later from one of the neighbors that he had seen it too, next door the winter before when it came up on his porch of his cabin and looked in the door window during a party he and his wife were throwing. He said he heard really heavy footsteps on the porch and pulled back the curtain on the window, and the Dogman was standing there on the other side of the glass looking down at him, but that its fur was white then. I think that's probably because there was snow on the ground at this point in the year. My neighbor hollered at everyone in the cabin and told them what he had just seen, and everyone decided to make a run for it through the woods to his mom's house next door, since her place was a lot sturdier than that hunting cabin. I've known that neighbor my whole life, practically since high school, and he would never make something up like that. He was scared even while he was talking about it. I also read somewhere recently online that another family about 45 miles north of our area had a bunch of livestock like cows and horses turn up dead and torn up by some kind of big predator, and that one of those guys in the family saw a giant upright wolf back near his hunting blind during deer season. Which of course freaked me out since we had our experience on season opener. The land butted up to that family's property is 100 miles of the Hiawatha National Forest, so it would make sense to me that a big animal would hide in and near a protected area like that when it's hearing gunshots everywhere else. My lot and my neighbor's lot also are right alongside state land. My husband and I moved since this all had happened, but the experience has been so upsetting to me that I constantly research online to see if anyone else is seeing this thing up north and what their encounter was like and stuff. I've even heard that there's a small pack of about 4 or 5 of them that live in the state forest downstate in Isabella County, that a bunch of locals in the nearby area have seen, and that somebody even saw one at night in downtown Saginaw, Michigan. What scares me about that is the fact that there is no tree cover there, as that's a city. I wonder if people all over the state are seeing these animals because they're getting forced out of their usual hunting territories due to hunting, logging, and mining that's really increased over the years here. Be careful out there, everybody. Today's next subscriber encounter is from our friend Bo. Now, if you guys remember or don't remember, Bo has a fiance, TJ, and they both have had encounters with a Dogman, actually 2, and a family of Sasquatch. There's a couple of encounters. I wanted to share this update with you guys, and then sometime later this month I'm going to combine everything and hopefully do a large upload of all of his encounters with his updates. So this is his most recent update to me. Hey, it's Bo again, and I've been tracking and learning the routine and the way the Dogman act and how it marks the territory Here, the last few weeks have been really interesting for the first time since I've been studying him in more depth. The Dogman and Bigfoot are keeping their distance from each other. The Bigfoot are marking more tree and scent marking a lot lately. I've noticed how the Dogman is marking his area as well, bit with slashes on the trees, or they look like something grabbed a small sapling and shredded the wood like cotton ears. It is truly amazing to see what he can still do. I've taken the time to watch for his marks, and he decided to let me know when I did because I made the deadly mistake of unwittingly walking into his marked area. I had walked into the woods around 12:30, 1 o'clock, as I was washed down the sandwich TJ had made me with a bottle of Mountain Dew. I was just walking up to the spot where I'd hunt a few times. Figured so I'd go try. Spot that was close yet flat because New River is all straight up and down. Walking down the road, I could hear my boots crunch on the gravel and hardened mud. I noticed a dull thudding noise from behind me. I stopped and looked over my shoulder to notice there was a Bigfoot walking along the road, keeping pace with me, but just slightly behind me, just enough to make sure it could still see me. It slowly walked down and back towards their cave, so I kept my pace, figuring if I got there quietly, I'd be able to cut the hogs and deer off from the water. But I started to walk out onto this small trail that branched out and wrapped up the side of the ridge. I heard something move and heard a rock fall off this hill, just to my right. The hill was actually more like a steep cliff, and this Dogman jumped halfway down, landing without moving an inch. The second jump he made to the bottom as the Dogman started walking out to the road towards me, staring at me again with this malicious look in his eyes. So, yet again, I am stuck 30 yards from the big black Dogman. Definitely had my attention now. I started to back up slowly as he was strutting towards me, head up and ears perked up at me. As those fiery amber eyes stared at me, I looked back at him when out of nowhere there was a tree that got knocked out of the way as a young male Sasquatch charged into the road behind me. He grunted and let out this loud whoop. The Dogman stopped on a dime and jumped twice, all the way back up the cliff as I got the heck out of there. I was walking back with the young male behind me about 10 yards. He walked me all the way back to my cabin. Sunday evening, as we were getting ready to sit down for supper, my old lady said, "Look behind you. The young male is here." I turned to see him walking out of the thicket and noticed that he had his hand on his face. As he walked, he staggered slowly up, bumping into trees left and more so on the right side, which is where he was holding his hand on his face. I noticed he was bleeding as it trickled off his elbow. He sees me standing there and drops his hand to his side, letting out the greeting whoop, and I returned one to him as my heart sank. He had a deep slash mark where it looked like 3 claws raked his face. The middle one was so deep and wide, and the other 2 weren't nearly as bad, but they were still bleeding. The older male had gotten into a fight with the Dogman and now has a silver stripe down his shoulders. It runs all the way to his wrist, almost like he earned his stripes as a military officer. I am not sure what they mean, but he is looking great, doing great. The young female and older female are still doing good. I've heard from some of the old-timers around here that the so-called mountain men are Bigfoot. And it got to talking, and they all believe that they protect the area and keep the people who take care of the woods and respect Mother Nature and all her animals, which has made me think that I was worthy of them to protect me, and that is an honor. As this research has been going on the last few months that I had been on the mend where the Dogman had broken my ribs and left me with massive slash marks, which I sent you those pictures before. But anyways, the notes I have shown that the family has been really active while the Dogman sightings have bottomed out again, and he may be getting ready to move on again, but it does have me curious. Where is he going? Should I try to warn people that he's on the move? TJ has been keeping my ribs clean and patched me up from that fight where I got smacked by the Alpha Dogman. Also, 3 weeks ago, I had noticed 2 more Dogman in the area as they cruised down the ridge. The big male on all 4 was bigger than a bear I'd ever seen, as the other 2 Dogman just showed the Alpha respect and kept their body language submissive and respectful, but they never stayed around. Man, I love it when Bo sends me some info. Just a little brief background on Bo and TJ. He reached out to me a couple months ago and shared his encounter with me about 2 Dogmans fighting. And then shortly after that, I narrated it, and he appeared on Vic Cundiff's show. And all of a sudden, I was just getting shit on by everybody. A lot of people, not everybody, but a lot of people, because he was on Vic's show, and everybody thought that I stole the story. And I contacted Bo, and Bo literally set it straight immediately that day. He commented back to the people that were giving me flack. And him and I have a very good mutual respect for each other. He's one hell of a guy. He's always out in the woods. Him and his fiance TJ, they're expecting a child very soon. They live in the woods. They have a beautiful hunting cabin. But he's got this obsession with doing investigations of Bigfoot and Dogman. He's very fortunate to have a family of 4 Bigfoot near his cabin that live in a cave. He described the young juvenile male, the alpha or older Bigfoot, which is silver now. There's a female, kind of like the mama bear, and the youngest is, the way he described it, this absolutely gorgeous, beautiful golden color, like a golden brown. This guy is the real deal, He's hands-on, balls deep into the investigations. I do have some pictures that he has generously sent me. He was attacked by a alpha Dogman. Actually, the one that beat up, there was a brown one and a black one in the first encounter that he ever shared with me. And you guys know it, some of you don't. There's you guys will find it. Just look for Dogman fights Dogman. Or very soon I will have the whole setup. But his investigation, I'm jealous, I'm not jealous that he got fucked up by a Dogman, because I most certainly don't want to, because he'd probably kill me with one of those swipes. But to be able to see these things up close in nature, to see how the pecking order works is amazing. And he did apologize for it being choppy. I normally go through and rewrite so it's easier for me to read. I don't change anything. I just rewrite it, put the commas where they belong. because he goes so fast. You know, he just types and wants to get back out there. His fiance TJ, which he likes to call his old lady, is keeping these notes and putting these notes together, because I suggested, hey, you know, I've got a platform where you can share your encounters. Is that something that you're willing to do? And he said, sure. But someday I'd love to go and visit him and just see, not necessarily the Dogman. Yes, I'd love to see the Dogman. Not again. I mean, no, I don't. My Dogman encounter freaked me out. So no, I know what they look like. I know what they do. I'm not that interested. I love reading the encounters. I love anything about Dogman, but I want to see how the family of Squatch exist. That has me so interested. Normally I'm not I love cryptid encounters. I love Sasquatch encounters. But Dogman is my thing, just like you guys, and you guys know that. But the way he has described this family is just, I want to see it. You know, I just want to be able to experience it with my own eyes. Because like when he said the old timers call them the mountain men, and they keep nature safe. I mean, even the Native Americans used to call them, I think they called them like the old ones or something like that. I believe the old ones. And they're just something that I want to see. You know, I'd love to see a Dogman again, but, you know, like in one of those shark cages. But this family of Sasquatch has just got me, you know, and Bo has got me with his amazing, this is his courageousness and curiosity, man. He's like a Grizzly Adams, but like a little kid almost, you know. He's just ready to go, and that's cool. The first encounter, wow. I reached out to her on Reddit and I said, hey, you know, can I narrate your encounter? And she said, I am a subscriber of yours. And I said, that's awesome. And she said, I'd love it. And you know, I can relate, because we all have this PTSD when we've seen these cryptids. I mean, I don't know about Bo, because Bo just goes and wants to find out more. But, you know, and we either become obsessed like Bo, or, which she is too, because she's not necessarily like in the woods again, but she's doing research like me. And I think the best way to describe why I'm doing this channel is to help myself deal with what I saw, to help get these encounters out to people, and to help the people that had these encounters deal with it, because at least, sorry guys, I got a frog in my throat. At least there's a platform. And then, like, so many of us have had an encounter, or, you know, some of us hadn't, but we are believers. But let's say this woman shares her encounter with 10 different people that are not part of our community on this channel. 8 of those 10 are going to call her a liar or say you're crazy. 2 out of 10 are going to be like, wow, yeah. And that's just how life is, you know. But this gives us a platform to work with each other and care about each other. And I love it, because there's always positive comments. There's never, your story's full of shit, you know, this and that, you're a liar. You know, we're all respectful here. even the trolls, I mean, they never go after any of the subscribers. They come after me, which I really don't care. But it's so cool, you know, and this is like a therapy group for people who have had encounters, and I really like that. And I actually realized that today more so. So, but yeah, her encounter was, I can definitely understand where that fear is. You know, I mean, you're unloading and the thing's just running through. And, yeah, definitely. That's really creepy. Anyway, I've been doing a little more research on the attack on the teacher, the 70-year-old teacher who passed away. I'm probably going to do that tomorrow. A lot of you guys don't realize that we're coming up on a year since that attack has happened. It happened on February 15th or 18th, excuse me. No, 18th. She passed away. The 15th it happened. And there still is no answers. And I think one of the last news articles ever done was in August of 2019. So 6 months ago, which is crazy. But like I said, I'm working on something on that right now, and I'll have that out tomorrow. Thanks, guys. You know, now I'm just rambling unsensibly. Have a great night.